Have you ever wondered what pistol a Navy SEAL or Delta Force operator actually reaches for when everything goes sideways? When there's no backup, no plan B, and the job depends on one tool working perfectly? Tonight, we pulled the curtain back on the real choices elite units make in 2025. This isn't marketing. It isn't influencer hype. This is procurement records, operator testimony, and field patterns boiled down into one brutal truth. Elite teams pick weapons that survive chaos, not features that look good on a catalog cover. Stay with me, because the number one choice will surprise you, and what these selections say about modern special operations could change how you think about handguns forever. Hit subscribe now so you don't miss the follow-up deep dives we'll run after this report. At number 5, we start in Germany with a pistol that blends precision engineering with operator-friendly ergonomics, the Heckler & Koch P30L. For years, Europe's best units quietly kept a handful of these on hand, and the reason is simple. Build quality you can trust under pressure. The P30L's reputation among European special operators grew not because of flash, but because of survivability. The way its controls were designed for gloved use, the predictable handling in wet, cold, and abrasive environments, and the attention to human factors that matter when reaction time is measured in fractions of a second. Special teams operating in Arctic conditions, dense urban battlefields, or complex maritime environments valued the ergonomics and the comfortable fit for long hours. It's not the cheapest option, and it doesn't ride the hype cycle, but when your mission is non-negotiable, steady performance matters more than novelty. Expect to see the P30L wherever units prioritize fit, feel, and that hard-earned German durability. At number 4, the story takes us to Italy, and a pistol that most Americans immediately recognize by reputation. The Beretta M9A4. If you thought Beretta was only a relic of older military contracts, think again. The modern A4 variant is not nostalgia. It's evolution. Special operators who value a proven lineage chose the M9A4 because it takes a classic design and updates it where it counts. Operator feedback, suppressor compatibility, and sighting options that align with contemporary optics. In high-stress work where failure is an option nobody can afford, teams often prefer a platform with a long track record of service and continuous improvement over shiny, untested innovations. The A4's adoption by niche elements within special operations signals a conservative procurement philosophy. If a design has reliably worked in the worst conditions, giving it thoughtful modern enhancements can be more valuable than chasing a buzzword. The takeaway is clear. Field-proven pedigree, iteratively modernized, wins trust. At number 3, we hit perhaps the most publicized pistol of the new era, the CG Sauer P320 M18. This is the gun that won the big trials, earned a lot of headlines, and then quietly found its way into the holsters of a surprising number of elite operators. But not always for the reasons you've seen in commercials. Special operations units that adopt the M18 are attracted to one central idea: modularity that actually supports mission flexibility. The P320 family's design philosophy allows teams to tailor the pistol to the role without replacing an entire armory. That adaptability matters when a squad might need a concealed option for discrete operations one day and a full-service sidearm for a deliberate raid the next. What special operators cite again and again isn't a feature sheet. It's the ability to standardize core components while configuring size and handling around the task. The M18's presence in Special Forces kits reflects the modern emphasis on cross-mission interoperability. One control unit, multiple mission jackets. It's a pragmatic reflection of how warfare now mixes denial, stealth, and rapid transition across environments. Number 2 surprises a lot of people because it comes from a manufacturer that, for decades, focused on value and mechanical fundamentals rather than big defense contracts. the CZP Aero 7 family. Don't let its modest market positioning fool you. In the hands of operators who prize controllability and trigger feel, the P07 earned a quiet reputation for accuracy and dependable performance. Units that discovered the P07 tended to do so the way true professionals do, by testing it under conditions that matter: low light, mud, extended exposure, and hours of carry. What stands out with weapons chosen by special operators isn't brand prestige so much as unglamorous, repeatable outcomes. The P07 offered a feel, an intuitive trigger cadence, and a practical balance that made it a surprising favorite in certain task forces. It's the kind of selection that tells you something about procurement culture. Sometimes the best answer isn't the loudest one on the market. It's the quietest one that keeps functioning when everything else fails. And then we get to number 1, the pistol that kept showing up in procurement lists, issue forms, and anonymous operator interviews across theaters. It's not a boutique wonder. It's not a bespoke custom build. It is the Glock 19 Gen 5, and the reason it tops the list will be obvious the moment you strip away the noise. Across conflicts, climates, and mission types, Glock's philosophy of simplicity, durability, and ubiquitous support has outperformed more exotic choices in the only metric that counts: survival. Special operators repeatedly told us, off the record and on, the same thing in different words. We don't need a showpiece. We need a tool that works when everything else is broken. The Glock 19 delivers on that promise more often than not. Where a tool will likely be exposed to sand, rain, salt, or the repeated abuse of a packed mission bag, Glock's practical resilience shines through. Now, before some of you roll your eyes and accuse elite units of playing it safe, let's be clear about what that means in operational terms. Choosing reliability doesn't mean choosing mediocrity. Operators use these pistols because they function across munition types. They survive long-term wear, and they are brutally simple to maintain under field conditions. When your support chain is compromised, when you have to trade magazines with another unit under stress, and when maintenance must be executed by hand in places where spare parts are days away, that simplicity becomes a force multiplier. It's an unglamorous truth. The more predictable your tool, the fewer variables you must manage when everything else is noisy. There's a pattern behind these 5 choices that's worth pausing on. Special operations teams do not pick pistols based on the latest viral video or Instagram stunt. They pick them after stress tests, long-term durability runs, and practical evaluation in places where failure is not an option. 2 clear themes emerge. First, ergonomics and human factors matter. A pistol that fits different hands, that transitions under concealment, and that behaves when gloved or wet is far more valuable than one that scores neat points on paper. Second, logistics and supportability trump novelty. A weapon with an enormous aftermarket and plentiful spare parts is a safer bet for sustained operations than a rare boutique piece that will be impossible to field repair in theater. We also saw 3 operational truths reflected in procurement choices. 1. Simplicity scales. When a platform is easy to use and to train on, unit readiness is faster and fewer mistakes happen in the heat of action. 2. Modularity matters, not as a marketing pitch, but as a real capability. Teams that can reconfigure a single control unit for multiple mission profiles reduce the weight of logistics and increase response flexibility. 3. Proven performance beats promise. That means platforms with real combat experience, not just stellar lab numbers, are the ones that get the nod. Now, let's talk about what this means for civilian shooters who want to learn from elite units without trying to emulate combat tactics. The lesson here is practical and surprisingly simple. Buy what you can train with consistently. Operators select platforms they can trust without thinking about them. And that trust is earned through thousands of rounds, hundreds of hours of handling, and the certainty that parts and support will be there when needed. If you take anything away from this report, let it be that thoughtful ownership, training, maintenance, and equipment familiarity matters more than chasing exotic features. I also want to flag a trend that keeps cropping up in our interviews. Special operations units are less interested in flashy, one-off upgrades and more invested in modest, low-cost optimizations that increase performance under stress. They want equipment that reduces error margins, not equipment that requires constant tinkering. That's why you'll find units spending more on optics that integrate with existing systems and on training that focuses on decision-making under duress, rather than on headline hardware upgrades that look flashy on a brochure. One more critical point. Men and women at the tip of the spear rarely talk about weapons as cool or sexy. They talk about them as tools, and they judge by outcomes. Was the tool dependable in the worst conditions? Did it enable the operator to act? Would it be easy to hand over to another teammate and keep the mission going? Those are the questions that determine procurement decisions, not brand loyalty or marketing budgets. So what surprised us most in this research? It wasn't that the Glock 19 topped the list. It was the extent to which the other choices, the P30L, the Beretta M9A4, the P320 M18, and the CZ P07, reveal a picture of diverse but predictable priorities: ergonomics, continuity, modularity, and affordability of sustainment. That diversity tells you that elite forces do not worship a single doctrine of gear. They adapt. They pick a toolkit that reflects the theater, the mission, and the human operator's needs. Now I'm going to leave you with a question I want you to wrestle with as you think about your own choices. If you could only pick one sidearm to trust in a situation where help is hours away, would you choose the highest performing but complex option, or the one with 1,000 small advantages that add up to reliability? In other words, would you pick potential performance or proven dependability? Drop your answer in the comments and tell me why. I read every submission, and the smartest takes often lead to our next investigation. If you found this intelligence useful, do the channel a favor. Hit subscribe, ring that bell, and share this video with one friend who takes gear seriously. We're following this topic with follow-ups on training, supportability, and the real-world drills special units use to get the most from their tools. Remember, the best pistol isn't the hottest on social media. It's the one that functions when everything else fails. Train with it, maintain it, and respect the power it represents. Until next time, stay sharp, stay humble, and stay prepared.